Hi, and welcome to Chitchats and Crown. My name is Melly, and I'm here to answer all your questions, doing live sessions here for free on my Discord. How is everyone? How are you guys? Happy Monday. It's a magnificent week, wouldn't you guys say? Magnificent week to get what we want, to get our desires, to decide about what we want and say that we already have it because that's our only job. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful that all we have to do is very simple to decide, persist, and stick to the new story? Isn't it wonderful? That's all we have to do. And then eventually we do take inspired action based on where our subconscious is leading us to. Isn't it wonderful, you guys? All right, let's see. My SP didn't wish me happy birthday on my birthday, and I resigned from my job. I started crying and started to focus on the worst version of him, even though now he is not. Well, happy birthday. If it's still or if it's a little late, but happy birthday. Um, you resigned from your job. That's nothing to be worried about. Because sorry guys, I was muted for some reason. This thing muted me. Okay, let me say what I was saying. Um, so as I was saying, if your SP didn't wish you happy birthday, you can feel your feelings and you can feel your emotions because you're not going to suppress them. You can say I feel like crap that my SP didn't do this. I always tell people it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling about your SP, but you have to remember the longer we on the version that's not in alignment to what we want, and the longer we continue to fester on that version, then we don't really get far. It's the thing, okay? I just want to see, can you guys hear me? Just to make sure. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. So you cannot stay that long complaining about the old version of your specific person and what they did or didn't do, because you really are just supposed to feel your emotions, take accountability for what you're feeling without blaming your specific person. Like, oh, my specific person's a piece of shit because he didn't wish me happy birthday. No, I feel this because I didn't get wish happy birthday, and that made me feel like this. And that made me feel unwanted. That made me feel unloved. That made me feel blah blah blah. But then once you take accountability for what you're feeling, because if you start to point blames at yours, like, well, my SP is a piece of crap because he didn't do this and this and this, and it was his responsibility to make me feel like this, you lost all your power. You have to take accountability for what you're feeling on your own. Like, I'm feeling this way and I'm feeling like I'm not loved or desired, or I feel abandoned because of this. Now you have to decide if that's actually true just because one person didn't do something, and you'll realize that that's not true, that you do have a lot of people that love you, that you do have a lot of people that don't abandon you. And if this person is not in alignment to that right now, then your job is not to continue wanting that person who's not in alignment, but to continue to want a version that is a version that you do want. But the more you keep lingering on, this version is not doing what I want, they're not a fucking puppet. If this version is not giving you what you want, then it's a freaking problem. So your job is not to stick to that version, but to stick to a version that does want you. All right. Let's see, Omi. You said what you guided me worked. His parents don't like the girl. Oh wow, that's fast. Don't like the girl that he got rookified to, and he wants to get married to me, but after the conversation for 2 days, he hasn't called me back. Please guide. You're not supposed to care that he hasn't called you back. You need to stick to the new story. You need to stick to the new story, because you're already going back to old patterns like, oh my God, he didn't call me back, and you start freaking the fuck out. Then that's why you go backwards. You have to stick to the new story no matter what. You have to stick to the new story. You'll get fast movements if these little things don't shake you. He hasn't called you for a week. Who cares? I'm going to stick to my news story. He hasn't called me for a month. I don't care. I'm going to stick to my news story. I don't care what I'm looking at. My only job is to stick to the news story and to stay committed to that news story, no matter what I'm seeing. Heck, the girl could say they're getting married tomorrow, and I will still stick to the news story. It doesn't matter if they were already at the point to get married, because I'm going to stick to my news story. If that's what I truly want, I'm going to stay committed to the news story. I'm not going to get swayed by the circumstances, no matter what the circumstances are, because the whole point that Neville Goddard says is circumstances don't fucking matter. If one phone call for you is what's going to make you it was going to make you doubt the law, if he didn't call you for 1 or 2 days, that's going to make you doubt the law that it's working. You're going to be there forever. You're going to be there waiting forever, because one little phone call that they didn't do, one little text that they didn't reply, that's enough to make you doubt and make you waver. Like, it makes no sense, right? Like, why would you, for one little action that they're taking or doing, that waver and go backwards in everything that you're already doing? It doesn't make any sense, right? But that's what a lot of you guys tend to do. You guys get magnificent movement, which should make you feel more powerful, but then one little thing, one little pullback, and you're already doubting the law and doubting your power. It makes no sense. So you get movement, you get proof that you're powerful and that shit is working in your favor. But one little thing, and you're already, oh, this shit is not working anymore. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then you go backwards. And then you feel like you have to start all over again because you get more circumstances because you keep focusing on it. Makes no sense. Okay, just checking. You're always doing right. You shouldn't even be asking that question. Your job is to tell yourself you're always doing it right. When something in 3D is opposite of what I want, and this piece telling me I would have never chosen someone else if I was available, but I don't want to have this feeling of not being honest. So hearing all this, I say you are the one losing and we are doing so. That's fine. As long as in your mind you know the truth and you keep telling yourself the new story, it doesn't matter what you tell him in 3D, because it is true. He would be the one losing, so that's not really a lie. If you truly believe that, like, he would be the one losing. But you already know that in your mind, of course, he's doing everything in his power to be with you, because he'll move heaven and earth for you, because he worships the ground you walk on. And if that's what's in your mindset, that's exactly what's going to manifest. So yes, that's the right way to approach it. And never doubt yourself. You have to tell yourself everything that I'm doing is right. Okay, let's see. Reshmi says, I am glad I could join this. I lost my job in February 2025. And I am currently manifesting a high-paying remote job at a good designation. I have seen some really bad times, and so bad that I had to sell gold. So need money ASAP. The thing is, to get a job and to get abundance, you have to already notice the abundance around you. Things are not going to move like super quick, especially if you're in a desperate state. You have to calm your nervous system when it comes to money, because when you are feeling desperate for something or you're feeling anxious, and you especially, you're going to notice your body tell you you're not safe. And you're going to notice that when you try to buy something, your body's going to be like resenting, or like your body feels, you're going to start feeling anxious when you're starting to spend money. I know, because even though I have financial stability and I have my finances, when I do a big purchase, I could feel my body become anxious, like, oh my gosh, what if I don't, So you have to learn how your body feels, and you have to start paying attention to how your body feels. In order for me to remove that unsafe feeling that I had when I did big purchases, like yesterday, I did a lot of big purchases. We went to the mall, and I saw my mom walk directly into the Michael Kors store just to look at handbags. And usually my body would be like freaking out, thinking, okay, if I buy her this, I need this much money to pay off this, to pay off that. But I had already been working on regulating my nervous system when it comes to big purchases, because now I feel safe doing big purchases. Before, $200, $300 purchases would freak me the fuck out. They would freak me out. I'm honest. $300, $500, that would freak me out. I do my own EFTs now. I do my own EFTs because I have particular set of limiting beliefs that I'm finding that I have to work on. But Brad Yates has enough that you can do. But I did my self-regulation yesterday. I did not flinch and I did not feel anxious going to the mall. Usually I feel anxious going to the mall because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to spend this much money. Yesterday, I did not flinch. My mom went to the Michael Kors store and I was like, Mom, grab whatever you want. And she's like, no, they're too expensive. No. I'm like, just grab whatever you want. What do you want? She grabbed two handbags and then my little niece wanted another handbag. I would have freaking freaked out if my niece back then when I wasn't regulated, if she would have grabbed something from that store. But my niece was like, oh, I want one too. And my brother was like, no, like that's too expensive for you. My little niece is still like 10, 11. My brother was like, no, that's too expensive for you. And I was like, no, it's okay. Let her grab it. I grabbed one for her, grabbed two for my mom. And that was about like $500 right there. I would have been freaking the fuck out if that was me not regulated. Because your body really tells you when you're not feeling safe about something, and those are your limiting beliefs that are surfacing, and your body's telling you about those limiting beliefs. You just have to learn how you have to learn about your body. Some people say self-regulation is not necessary. That is completely true. It is not necessary to manifest, but it makes it so much fucking easier. There are people that their nervous system is so shut down that it doesn't matter how much they affirm, because their body's screaming that they don't feel safe. So once I did my self-regulation, yesterday I spent $500 there. I spent $200 at the body store because my mom wanted some stuff. My little niece wanted some stuff. And yeah, I think easily yesterday I spent like $700, $800. That would have freaked me the fuck out at another point in time. But we have to learn to self-regulate. I think people should learn about their nervous system. I think people really need to learn how to fucking relax. Because if you don't know how to relax, it becomes difficult for you to stay in the mindset of already having, because you don't trust it. Your body's telling you that's not true. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling fear. And when you're feeling fear, you waver, you doubt, you focus on the circumstances. So if you're feeling shut out, you have to learn how your body's feeling when you're applying for jobs, when you're going to interviews. If you're feeling nervous and not confident, that's telling you something. That's telling you that your body doesn't feel safe and you need to make your body feel safe. And there's many ways to self-regulate. And then the thing is that when your body's not feeling safe, it triggers your mind to think the wrong things. Once your body's not feeling safe, and if you don't learn to regulate your nervous system and you don't learn to regulate how you're feeling unsafe, what happens is that it automatically triggers your mind. You guys can go watch Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about this. That's why he talks about disruption. That's why he says you have to disrupt your body when it starts to feel unsafe. You have to disrupt it or just calming your nervous system. Because if you don't, then it triggers your mind to think the wrong thing, to continue to think things are not going to work out for you. Look at how things are. You're not feeling safe. So let's infuse fear, and it infuses thoughts of fear. What are the thoughts of fear? I can't do this. This is going to be hard. This is going to take long. This is not going to work out for me. And then you start with your what ifs, which are the worst ones if you don't shift the what ifs to something that's going to help you. The what ifs are the worst ones. What if I don't get the job? What if I have to pay this? What if I don't have enough money for that? And those what ifs become affirmations. The questions become affirmations. So to me, if you're feeling all kinds of sorts of nervousness and all of that stuff, you're really shooting at the dark. You know what I mean? You could be 50-50 instead of being 100%. You're going to be 50-50 because if you're doubting and wavering, you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get this. It's going to be a 50-50 shot that you're going to manifest the job that you want. You know what I mean? So you want 100%, you need to make your body feel safe in having, because what do we manifest? We manifest things that feel normal for us. Why normal? Because if you already had it, it will feel normal to have it. It will feel normal. It will feel, it's normal for me to have this. If it feels something impossible, your body starts to get nervous. Your body starts to feel like this is not safe for me to have because it seems impossible, right? So you need to learn to start normalizing what you're wanting. Some people do that by self-regulation. If you don't want to do it with self-regulation, you're going to have to find what works for you. But to me, even before I learned about EFT, I learned how to relax my body. I learned how to relax my mind. I did stuff to relax. You need to learn how to relax. Why do you think it works for some people? Can you guys hear me? I'm getting to a place where, like, I think my perception gets all messed up. Okay. So why do you think SATS works for some people? Why do you think SATS works? SATS works because you are relaxing your body. You're relaxing your mind when you're doing SATS. That's why SATS works for a lot of people. So they're visualizing, they're feeling, and they're relaxed. SATS works mostly because people are relaxing at that point where they're paying attention to whatever it is that they're visualizing. Okay? I don't do SATS because I just don't like visualizing. I hate visualizing. Like, it's not for me. But I know how to relax my body and I know how to relax my mind. So whenever it is that I'm affirming, or whenever it is that I'm being in the state of being, I'm so relaxed. And I do it during the day. I don't even have to do it at night, because you usually do it at night before you're going to bed, or you can do it whenever you're going to be super relaxed. I try to relax my body the whole day and relax my mind. Because whenever I start to feel anxious, I will go into a bathroom if I'm not at home, and I'll do EFT in the bathroom to relax my body. To relax, because I don't want to be in a state of anxiousness the whole day because of something I'm going through right then and there. You know, I take action right then and there with EFT. That's what I do. All right, let me see. Next question. I hope you're doing well. I am, thank you. I have a question. Is it possible that I forgive my SP, but when the person comes back, I can reason them and ask legitimate questions of what they did before and ask for a reasoning? You can, but the thing is, you have to keep in mind, if you're going to do that and you're going to get upset based on what they tell you, or whatever your assumption is, that's the reasoning that they're going to give you. So if your assumption is that they did that to hurt you purposely, or they did that for whatever reason, whatever you're assuming, that's going to be your answer. So you have to be ready for that answer. And you can't get upset because that's just your assumption. So, like, whatever you're assuming that the reason is, that's the reason that version is going to give you. So you already know the reason, even though you're trying to ask it. You're already going to know the reason. Whatever your assumption is right now, or whatever your assumption is going to be when they come back and you ask them that question, that's going to be the reason that they're going to give you. You have another question, so let me. Oh no, that's the same question you have. Okay. So yeah, you can ask them like, why did you do this? But it's really, the answer is going to be whatever it is that you're assuming. Okay, next question. What do you do when you see movement, but then it stops? I really think seeing movement kind of made me focus on 3D. I don't focus on 3D or circumstances. I continue to persist on my new story, because if the whole cake is not here yet, I'm not going to eat off of somebody else's breadcrumbs, right? I'm not going to take the plate of someone else or someone else's breadcrumbs just because they're falling. To me, movement is just breadcrumbs. I see it as, okay, that's a good thing, I'm in the right direction. But then I continue focusing on what I want. I am very committed to my new story because that's discipline. And I have extremely amazing discipline. So I'm going to be disciplined and still focus on my new story because I want the whole cake. I want my slice. Give me my fucking slice. So if it hasn't materialized, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about what's in my face. I give a shit about my end result. I give a crap about my end. That's all I care about. And that's what I want to focus on. I am very one track minded. Like, I will focus until the end and until I see my end materialize. So I don't focus, I don't look to the sides. I don't look at, oh my gosh, this 3D is in my face, so that means it didn't work. I don't do that. I'm just very like, oh, something movement happened and then like somebody's in my face. Okay, let's continue. My end story. I already have it because I trust the law. I trust my power. I trust that I can get what I want. So I will trust my story and my new story, and I will continue with my new story no matter how long it takes. I never go like, oh, it's going to take long. And to me, it's like, I already have it because that's my only job. To me, I have to normalize it. I already have this. Me focusing on circumstances in 3D makes the desire not normal. Oh, the 3D is here and something bad happened. Some circumstance happened. So what does that make it? It makes me focus that my new story is not possible. I just don't focus on the circumstance. I know people think that's difficult, but it's really not. It's a choice. It's where discipline comes in. Motivation doesn't last. You can be motivated for 1 week, and then if something comes out bad and your motivation's gone just because you see some circumstances. See, that's why I have discipline, because I want what I want so bad that I'm going to focus on that one thing as if I already had it. I'm going to normalize it. When the cake is still not there, but then you can see the bridge and the bridge doesn't make sense, what to do? Cross the fucking bridge. The bridge doesn't need to make sense. You say it's a bridge and you move on and you keep focus on the new story. What's your only job? What does Neville say, you guys? What does every teacher since the 1920s tell you to do? What is your one job? Come on. What is your one job? You have one job. Yeah, you guys are focused on I need to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but Neville doesn't say to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dr. Joseph Murphy doesn't tell you to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Florence Scovel Shinn doesn't tell you to do step one. Even Dr. Joe Dispenza doesn't say that. What does every single teacher since the 1920s tell you to do? What's your one job? What is your one job, you guys? Is to go to the end. Live in the end. Stay in the wish fulfilled. What is the wish fulfilled? I already have it. That's it. That's the word. That's the magic word right there. I already have it. It's mine. Even if you were to do and just say, I already have it all day, every day, that's it. You will normalize it. You don't even have to say your desire. I already have my SP. I already have the job that I want. I already have the dream job. I already have abundance. I already have hundreds of thousands of dollars. I already make $10,000 a month. You don't even have to say that. You could just be like, I already have it, because you already know what you want. But if you were to normalize what you want by saying, I already have it, because that's your new story, and if you will cut off the noise and normalize that one thing, then it will take absolutely no time to manifest. The reason anything takes time, creation is already finished, right? But we put noise in between. We have to sift through stuff in between. Yes, limiting beliefs will come up, triggers will come up. All we have to do is just deal with them, and we deal with them by acknowledging that they're there and then deciding if we want to have them or not. But our main job is to normalize that our desire is ours. That's it. We just have to normalize that our desire is done. It's ours. We have it. It's done. That's our only job. And yes, once in a while, we do have to deal with the freaking limiting beliefs, because we do have limiting beliefs. The book that I'm reading is a to read that book, because limiting beliefs are agreements. It's stuff that you agree to thinking that is right. So once you decide to have a new agreement, then it's done. You don't need to do a lot to get rid of limiting beliefs. You don't have to do a lot of things for that. It's that's it. So it, it really, you have one job, you guys. It seriously is that. It's just persisting and thinking you already have it. And it's not going to feel natural at first. It's normal for it to not feel natural. It's normal for you to not believe it. And it's okay to not believe it, because you're not really going to believe it right away. You're not going to feel like it's natural at first either. It takes repetition. Everything that you believe right now, the reason why you believe that you're not worthy in having it, the reason why you believe you can't have it or it's hard to have it, you repeated that so much that now you believe it. That's all it is. Okay, this is true. My SP came back and repeated my assumptions that time to me. See? It shouldn't be hard, and it's not hard, but we make it hard. Like you said, what ifs manifest? Sometimes I get fearful of these thoughts. You shouldn't get fearful. You should just change them. If they're there and you know they're there, why do you keep telling yourself the what ifs? You shouldn't fear it. You should be correcting yourself. You should be like, what if it does work out? Right away, you correct yourself. What if it does work out? Because you can say, what if it takes long? You correct yourself right there. Be strict. No, fuck that. I'm not going to go, what if it doesn't work out? I'm going to go, what if it does work out? What if it does work out? What if it is easy? You correct yourself. So, how do you tackle the feeling of not believing it yet when trying to focus on the new story? You don't need to believe it. Who said you need to believe it? Every single teacher doesn't tell you you need to believe it. What do they tell you? Continue persisting on the new story regardless, period. Why are you trying to get to belief when you're not even persisting on the new story? You have one job, and that's persist on the new story. Who cares about the belief? The belief will come after. Nobody's telling you to believe it. They're telling you normalize it. How do you normalize something? By repetition, by mostly focusing on that thing and not on everything else. You cancel out the noise. You cancel out the noise. And that's your choice. Your choice is, I'm either going to focus on the news story, or I'm going to focus on the shit that's in front of me that's bothering me, to create more of that, because that's what's going to happen. If you're focused on 3D and circumstances and that's your main focus, and you think that 5 minutes of affirming for what you want, but then the rest of the day you're focused on why things are not working out, why your SP's being this, why you're not getting the job, then you're going to get more of what you don't want. Because whatever it is you're focused more on during the day, tomorrow will be repeated. Once you said you started assuming that you're productive and you have become productive, I am assuming that too, but I still don't feel like doing things. Then you haven't normalized it. You haven't normalized that thought. You haven't normalized that identity. You just haven't normalized it. You have to keep telling yourself that. And then you have to start to think, what am I being productive of already? Because if you're saying I am productive, but then you start to put yourself down, every step of the way, and you start to tell yourself, oh my gosh, I suck, I'm not productive, I didn't do anything today. But let's say you did one freaking thing that was productive. Let's say you took your mom somewhere. That's productive. You have to start looking at the stuff that you are already doing. You have to really seriously read the 4 agreements. It tells you how we talk shit about ourselves so much. When you put yourself down and when you hate who you are, nothing that you do is ever. That's why it's hard for those people to manifest. With those people that put themselves down, and I'm telling you because I used to be that way before, where I used to want perfectionism for myself, and I had an image or standard of me being this grand person, and I wasn't that. So I would be putting myself down every single step of the way. You don't manifest quickly like that. You have to accept who you are, and you have to be loving yourself for who you are. So you have to start looking at the things that you're doing right now that are right and focusing on those things. If you woke up today, that's a lot. If you woke up, brushed your teeth, did your hair, took a shower, fucking congratulate yourself for that. That's productive. But you can't keep putting yourself down and saying I'm not productive, and then at the same time affirming I'm productive when you guys can't keep contradicting yourself. That's the thing. You can't keep contradicting yourself. You can't say I'm abundant and then say, I suck because I spent $5 on whatever it is that you bought. I'm so bad with money. You can't see the contradiction. It doesn't work. It does not work. Okay, let's see. Hello, I know you hate this question. Oh, Jesus, what is it? Let me go down. It says, but what's the timeline where you would say to someone, you still have no clear mental diet and stuff? Are you putting those videos on YouTube? Wait, I don't get, what's the question again? I didn't understand the question, girl. Can you break it down for me? Because I didn't understand that question. All right. I remember you telling the story of a woman when her SP came back, he reflected everything as in his thoughts, started changing from the time she started affirming. That story keeps me going. There's so many things, guys. Like, there's crazy manifestations out there. We really are powerful, but we take our own power away. We really take our own power away when we start believing other people, when we start focusing on the 3D, when we start to just not focus on what we want, we take our power away. Seriously. 2 interviews that I gave are evaluating other candidates. How can I manifest them not liking the other candidates and choosing me? You don't focus on the other candidates at all. You focus on, I already have it. My job is to say I already have it. And if they give the job to someone else, I still continue to say I already have it. Because we don't know if we give up as soon as the circumstances shows up. If, let's say, one of the candidates gets the job and we say, see, my manifestation didn't work. See, this doesn't work. This sucks. And you go to that circumstance and what did I do wrong? Then they will get the job. But if you were to not freaking give up, if you were to continue and persisting on the new story, I already have it. I have this job. This is the job I want. I already have it. I already have it. I already have it. I already have it. Even if the offer was made to the other person could the next day say, I'm not available. I don't want this job anymore because I found something else. Whoever needs to move will move. But only if you stay persistent in the story, in the new story of what you want. I already have it. I already have it. That's your one job. It doesn't matter if that shit got offered to 10 other people. It doesn't matter. But the problem is you guys give up. You guys give up. And then you have to start all over again because you guys give up. You guys give up and you start wallowing in self-pity for one whole week. And then you get motivated again the following week and you start all over. And then another circumstances comes up, you give up again, and you have to start all. You guys have that pattern. Oh, he didn't text me for a week. When? Let me cry for a whole week. When? This doesn't work. Then you read some freaking Instagram post or you watch some YouTube video from some coach and you get motivated again. Oh no, this time I'm gonna, for real, I'm gonna have a good mental diet, for real. I'm gonna do it right, for real. You get motivated for that week, a little circumstances pops up. When? It doesn't work again. When? Why isn't it working, Melly? When? And you do it over and over and over. I know, because some of you are still in the same situation you guys were when I first met you. Because you do that. You guys do that. Motivated for 1 week, circumstance pops up, unmotivated for the rest of the week, and then motivated again for the following week. Some of you guys do that. I know some of you guys, and you guys don't change. Some of you guys, not all of you, because I have a bunch of you here on Discord and when I used to have my WhatsApp that you guys manifested amazing freaking things. And most of those people that manifested amazing things, they don't need to hear from me because they're just good at manifesting now. But some of you do that. You guys tend to be motivated for 1 week, circumstance one day, and then that makes you fall off the wagon for a whole nother week. And you have to ask yourself, why do I do this to myself? I just need to have discipline, because discipline makes you do shit you don't want to do, but you still do it anyways. That's discipline. You have to have discipline. And if you have to affirm that you are very disciplined, then fucking affirm it from right now. I am very disciplined. I only focus on what I want. I only think good thoughts. My mental diet is perfect. If you have to do that for a whole month before you start affirming or manifesting what you want, do it, because that's what I did. In conjunction to what I wanted, I was actually manifesting and affirming that I have perfect mental diet, I have perfect discipline, and I was amazingly disciplined. And I believe it now because I said it for so long. I repeated that for so long that now it's a belief of mine. That's my identity. I am a very disciplined person. My mental diet is perfect. I only think good thoughts. I only focus on what I want. That's my belief now because I repeated it for so long. All right, let's see. The question was, if someone tells you he is manifesting, when in terms of weeks, months, would you still tell them, guys, you are not doing what you should? Do you still have bad mental diet? Honestly, things, in my opinion, should not take you more than a certain amount of months. I think it really depends. It really depends how your mental diet is. Here's the thing. I think SPs shouldn't take more than a few months. If it's taking a year, there's a problem. If it's taking more than 6 months, I feel like there's bad mental diet there. I feel like there's bad mental diet for sure. Or your focus is off, or you're contradicting yourself in some way, or you're just not dealing with your limiting beliefs. A job, I think nothing should really take a year unless it's like something that you feel like you have a lot of limiting beliefs stacked up, and you have to evaluate yourself in that regard, because I can tell you, for me to achieve financial freedom or to have the financial abundance I have right now, it did take me like 3-4 months because I had a lot of limiting beliefs about money. And to be achieving what I am trying to achieve right now, what I'm working on right now, it's taking me a few months. And I know it's because I have so much stacked up that I'm finding out even right now as I'm working through it. I'm like, okay, some limited belief came up about this and I can feel it in my body, so I have to deal with it, and I deal with it. But every time I deal with a limiting belief, I see movement, and I take the movement as a win, and I continue to put more focus on my end result, on my end goal. So I can't say something is not going to take longer than months or weeks, because to be honest with you, every person is different and every person had different circumstances. Every person had different limiting beliefs growing up. So some things might take longer than other things. You know what I mean? So I can't say, oh, someone that took 7 months to manifest what they want is wrong. Like, if they did it, they fucking did it. You know, that's what matters. You did it. Someone took 2-3 years. At least you did it. You got it, right? I think that's why you shouldn't focus on time. And I wouldn't be focused on time. Like, it's either, I always told myself this, I either want what I want or I don't want it at all. If I have a time, like, let's say if I don't get it in 2 months, then I'm just not going to want it anymore. I'd rather not waste my time manifesting it. I'd rather just let it be. Like, if I get it, cool. If I don't get it, that's fine. But if I really want something, like right now, I have two things that I really, really like, I want. So I'm putting effort, energy, and effort in the sense of I am actively removing the limiting beliefs. That's the effort. Effort for me is removing the limiting beliefs, like as they come up. Me doing EFT, to me, that's effort. So the things that I'm putting effort in that sense, energetic effort, is because I truly want what I want and I don't care how long it's going to take. I want it so bad, you guys. I want this so bad that I don't care how long it takes. I don't care if it takes me a year. I don't care if it takes me 2 years. I don't care if it takes me 3 years. I want that so bad that I will put energetic effort to shift to that new identity, to be that new identity, and to have that, you know? So I am putting energetic effort in those two things that I am working on right now. And I don't care how long it's going to take. I don't care if people tell me, like, oh, I thought you were a great manifestor. Why did it take you a whole year or 2 years? What do you care? I got what I wanted. What do you care how long it took me? Oh, well, if you were a great manifestor, it should have taken you a freaking month. Once I have what I want, you think I give a shit how long it took me to get there? Once I'm enjoying that thing because it's going to be so freaking amazing and great, you think I care what anyone thinks of how long it took me? Oh, you should have manifested it earlier than that if you're such a great manifestor. No, I'm still a great manifestor because I got what I want. And same thing with how some people tend to be judgmental of how manifest their desires. There was one person that was so judgmental, another person that manifested a house. Someone gave them the house, or I think it was a relative. A relative gave them the house. They were so judgmental on that person, saying, like, oh, then you really didn't manifest it. You just got lucky that your family member gave it to you. It's still a manifestation. They wanted a house. They didn't have to pay for the house. It doesn't freaking matter how they got it. They manifested it regardless. What do you care how it happened? You're never going to know how it happens because subconscious is going to find grandiose and amazing ways to get you what you want. So to me, it's the same thing. I cannot judge how long something is going to take. I can just tell you to say, I already have it, and that's your one job. I already have it, and like, if you truly wanted it, you're not going to care how long it's going to take, but your job is to say, I already have it. The more you get into normalizing that thing, the faster it's going to shift for you. Two stories of mine. First, I was rejected at uni and I kept saying I will go there. 1 year after they called me, like, do you want to come? You got a gap year. I can tell you I never got a gap year in this university. You have to pay for them, and I didn't even pay. Perfect. See? There's your one success story right there of saying I already have it over and over and over. Even if someone rejects you, even if something rejects you, if you say I already have it regardless and you stick to that story, you're going to get it. Do you have flaws sometimes? Girl, I have so many flaws. Like, what you talking about? I feel you are so perfect. Thank you, but no. I am far from perfect, but I do like to say that I am, just because, every single day, I don't say I'm perfect. I just say every day I get better and better. Every day I get better and better. Because I always like to get better, like every day I get better and better. But no, I do have flaws. I do have flaws. How could a good mental diet look like when manifesting a perfect relationship with SP? And him being the best man on earth and caring, loving, and doing everything to make experience being loved and chosen. You think only that. You think he's the best man. That you only think of that. You focus and you think he's already that, regardless of what he's showing you. That's the hard part when it comes to recreating an SP. It takes a lot of energy because in 3D you might be seeing him with another woman, but because you want to recreate that version, you want to align with a better version of him, it's your job to still think he is the best man, to think he is caring and loving, to think that he is worshiping the ground that you walk on, to think that he is so in love with you that he can't want no one else, while watching with your eyes that he's with another woman. while watching with your eyes that he's rejecting you. And that's the difficult part about recreating an SB, because in 3D you're experiencing something completely different, while in your mindset you're having to tell yourself something that you feel it's not true yet. But you have to normalize thinking he is the best man, he is amazing, he does love you, and all of that, and it feels delusional. That's the difficult part about manifesting, recreating an SP. Do you believe that trauma is stored in the body and stays there? Yeah, for sure. And it's not just trauma, it's just all the beliefs that we agreed to when we were little, all the beliefs that we grew up with. It's stored. And sometimes you won't even know you have that belief until it triggers you, until you're manifesting something and you get triggered by something, and it tells you this is the reason why you can't have it. And that's the limiting belief maybe you grew up with. Maybe your dad told you when you were little something like that, or your mom, or your uncle, or your friends. So that's why right now, when we're older and now that we're learning all of this, it feels overwhelming sometimes that you're having to deal with all of these things that you grew up with. Are you sometimes tired of doing EFT? I only do it when I really have to, like when my body's feeling like really anxious, or when I just know when my body's not feeling right. I know when I'm feeling like sad, or I'm feeling like depressed about something, or it's something really triggered me really bad. That's when I do EFT. I do it when it's necessary. I don't do it like obligated, like if I do it, I do it because it's necessary. I do it less and less nowadays though, because I really don't feel like I have to. Like, I really haven't felt anxious in the past 4 or 5 days about anything. So I haven't done AFT for the past 5 days. There was a time where I was doing it on a daily basis though, because like I could feel my body like really stressed and tense about certain things that I was thinking. When you simply say I already have it without affirming, visualizing, you still get it. I don't visualize, so I get everything I want. I don't visualize. Can we do EFT for 30 minutes a day or less is preferred? My EFTs are 5 minutes long at the most. Sometimes they're 10 minutes, sometimes, but that's rare. Most of my EFTs are for 5 minutes long. I don't do anything that's 30 minutes. Or I haven't really done anything that's 30 minutes. Maybe a subliminal. But I do EFT only once, whenever I feel anxious, or whenever I have this like strong feeling of something, like, oh, like I feel uncomfortable. That's when I do EFT, and I do it once. Even when I was doing it on a daily basis, I only did it once a day, and that was before bed. Most of the time, I did it before bed. So I only did it once. Can we do EFT only with affirmations we use to manifest? There's a certain way you have to do EFT. So my suggestion is you research it on YouTube, how to do EFT properly, or you go to ChatGPT, use an AI, and tell it to write a script for you. But you have to tell it what your limiting beliefs are, or what you're trying to work on, because the whole point of EFT is to remove limiting beliefs and then insert the new beliefs that you want to insert. So what EFT does is it removes and it reprograms. So you have to say what you want to remove and then reprogram it. EFT has a formula. It's not just I'm going to affirm. No, like there's a formula to EFT. So my suggestion is either have ChatGPT explain how EFT works, or an AI have it explain how it works. And then you can have it write your script if you want, like your own script. But it's always you're removing something and you're tapping out those emotions that you're having, those strong emotions, and then you're removing those limiting beliefs. And then you are tapping in beliefs that you want to see. If you want to tackle without negative feelings, then that's a problem, because the whole point of EFT is to remove them. Is to remove those negative feelings, because there's a reason why they're there. If you are not wanting to tackle your limiting beliefs, that's just affirming. Simple. It's just affirming. Then there's no point in doing EFT if you're only trying to affirm, because you're not getting anything out of it. Remember, EFT is called emotional freedom tapping. It's giving you freedom from certain emotions that you don't want to feel strongly about anymore. Because once you do EFT, that subject that you do EFT for shouldn't bother you anymore, or it should bother you less and less. The more you do EFT on that subject and you release the emotions, the less you'll feel strongly about it. So if I feel guilt or shame about something and I do EFT for guilt and shame about that subject, you should no longer feel guilt and shame after the EFT, or it should not make you feel anything.